Chairman, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, sir.
I was hoping to talk with you a little bit about your role on the Inmate Disciplinary Oversight Board. As you know, it's a relatively new board, but I feel like the board is doing some really good work, and an opportunity to talk to each of its board members on the work that it's doing and accomplishing, I think, would go a long way to informing the citizens of Tennessee on what the purpose of the board is and how we're helping build safety and consistency across the correctional network.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you introduce yourself quickly for the citizens?
Yes, my name is Jerry Vastbinder. I'm a retired sheriff from Obion County, Tennessee, in West Tennessee. I was sheriff there for 16 years and worked for the Sheriff's Department for 34 years. I was approached by the governor's office in November of 2023 about an inmate disciplinary oversight board position that was being created to review disciplinary actions in the Department of Corrections that had resulted from the Elijah Fletcher murder in Shelby County. I had never heard about the Inmate Disciplinary Oversight Board. So they caught me off guard and explained to me, what the board would be doing, and I said, well, I'd be glad to think about it. So I thought about it for a few days, and I contacted them back, and they obviously had other people that they were also talking to for the position, because there's a position, the governor has a position in all three command divisions, West, Middle, and East. And I said, I think I would be interested in this. I think it's something that could make a difference in the safety of Tennesseans. And I was lucky enough that the governor's office chose me and made me his West Tennessee appointee.
So how long have you been on the board now?
I have been on the board since November the 14th of 2023.
And you're the chairman.
I'm the chairman, yes, sir.
How long is that?
Was it January of 2024?
So several months.
Yes, I've been chairman several months. It's I think the chair position's a 2-year position, and it's an honor to be chair of the board. I think that we have come a long way since the beginning of our venture as a board, because the board technically didn't go into effect until January the 1st of 2024. So we've just now really got a year behind us, and we have made a lot of strides in the last year, and now we can see statistically the changes that Department of Corrections is making in the disciplinary process, and the goal is to keep the bad offenders incarcerated longer, to keep the citizens safe. And it's a small majority of the total number of inmates that are in the Department of Corrections, but basically we're keeping that 20% or below that are the bad of the bad in prison. They're not being released early. So I think that the people of Tennessee are much safer because of our board.
How have you enjoyed your time on the board so far?
I've enjoyed it. It's a lot different from being sheriff. I understand the correctional side of it because I ran a jail for many years, and I understand the hardships that the Department of Corrections has dealing with inmates. Because anytime you've got people confined, you're going to have the possibility of problems. And the Tennessee is one of the few states that does give behavioral credit and program credits. Inmates can earn up to 6 to 8 days of good credit, behavioral credit per month, if they act right, cause no problem. And they can also receive program credit if they're getting their GED or going through vocational training. And the prison system offers several different types of vocational training across the state. They can get up to 6 to 8 days good time for going through programs. So it's an incentive for the inmate to work hard to rehabilitate himself, but it's kind of a carrot that the Department of Corrections has, hey, if you act up, we can also take some of your time away from you. So it's an incentive for the inmates to try to do better.
What would you say that has been the biggest impact of the board in the past year and a half?
I think the biggest impact has been the working relationship we have with the Department of Corrections and the ability to sit down with the Commissioner's office and discuss trends that we see as we're reviewing the incidents. And the incidents that we review each month are just Class A incidents, and there actually are 3 different sets of incidents. There's A's, B's, and C's, but A's are the only ones that you can lose credit, and they're the bad cases: assault on offenders, assault on staff members, possession of weapons. But we have been able to work with the Commissioner's office, and Commissioner Strada actually upped the number of Class A offenses back after this bill was created, up to, I believe, like 29 Class A offenses, where it was a much smaller number. And now, this is June of 2025, and our normal amount of cases average between 1,700 and 1,800 cases per month that we review. Well, here in our May cases, we've seen a drop to 1,450 cases just because this new matrix went into effect in February that has a stiffer punishment for the inmates. So I think, and even talking with the wardens and the correctional officers, the D-board sergeants at the prison, everybody has the expectation that working under the new matrix and working with our board to get uniformity across the state, that we're going to see cases drop across the state. And that's the whole thought process that the legislature had when they created us, is they want us to stop the violence in the prisons.
That sounds great. Any last messages you'd like to give to anybody about the work the board is doing?
The board, it's hard to say how much goes into it. There's a lot of thought process when we look through the cases. It's a 9-member board. The cases are all distributed equally between all of the members, but you'll have some cases that there could be, say, one case of refusal of a drug test, which is one case number. Well, when you open up that case, there may be 15 offenders in there, so we have to review all those. And if you have multiple cases where an inmate was charged, say, with possession of a weapon, and assault on an inmate, and possibly the possession of a cell phone, all in 3 write-ups, well, those 3 cases, because of the way they're split up, actually go to 3 different board members. So we all 3 have to communicate because they're all in unison. So there's a lot of intertwine between the members, and everybody has the mindset that we want to make Tennessee safer.
Well, I think what the board is doing is really great, and I appreciate your time, and I think everybody who was wanting to get to know a little bit about you and about the work of the board appreciates everything you just told us, and thank you again for continuing to serve Tennessee and coming out of retirement to help us out.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the governor's confidence to have me as his West Tennessee appointee.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.